all the problems that we had and reliance on FDI, they tell us we've got to keep going out and bringing in the foreign direct investment, but at the same time we've really got to really arm and commission our entrepreneurs, and in particular that as yet untapped potential which lies in our female entrepreneurs. Female entrepreneurship of reasonably recent origin came late into the world of business, mainly because of that you can't because you're a woman, and because of all the range of other things that women's lives were implicated and embedded in. So we're still suffering, and business is still suffering, and our lives are still suffering from the way in which that business model was shaped, that working world model was shaped. It is not yet fully adapted to the particular, and we have, as women, very particular needs, and the needs of families in particular, which for the time being, we largely as women articulate. I'm hoping there will come a time when we will share that articulation, we will share that advocacy, but for the moment, regrettably, it is women who largely articulate those needs. But it is still the sector with the greatest potential for growth. So for women with entrepreneurial ambitions, this is the moment, and this is very definitely the time. Governments and their agencies on both sides of the border are actively working, and they're represented here today and very well represented. They are working to support and to encourage our entrepreneurs, and in particular entrepreneurial women. There is invaluable support available now, and in particular organisations, of course, like Women in Business, giving that kind of network, that bit of just encouragement, that extra encouragement, because we know that business is quite a lonely road. It's tough, it's pressurised, it's competitive. There are nights when you go to bed and worry about the debts you've taken on, the people who are relying on you for jobs. It calls for a very particular kind of psychology, and it's interesting how we can help each other by offering each other support, particularly through tough times. There's that legacy of old obstacles, that ill-fitting structure to be overcome, but nothing that can't be overcome. I think of Seamus Heaney's brilliant description of this generation in his poem From the Canton of Expectation. I just love this phrase. He describes us as having intelligence as brightened and unmannerly as crowbars. So there's a lot of heavy lifting to be done, and we're going to need those crowbars. That's our brain power will be the crowbar. And the power then, yourself, if you've got a crowbar, the more people you have on the end of the crowbar, the more likely you are to shift the obstacle. One person on their own, fine. 3 people, even better. 33,000, better still. And I hope that in our lifetime that we will see literally legions of young, successful women serving both as the engine of our economy and as models to young female entrepreneurs. That's the possibility that is out there if we apply our minds to getting the obstacles that are still in place that need to be shifted, and we have shifted a lot of them in a very short period of time, to keep shifting and keep opening up that passageway for women to show what their genius is capable of. And I believe that when we do that when we get rid of that culture where the overlooked genius of women was so wasted, when we let that daring, that creativity, that culture of innovation and that courage just show what it is capable of, I think we're going to see a tremendous new era of prosperity. It's going to bring great pride, north and south, and it's going to bring tremendous opportunities to the generation coming beyond us, the generation in whose name peace really has been established. For them, that peace, that prosperity, is really what we're all about. It's about giving them the best possible lives. That, at the end of the day, is what commerce is all about. Creating opportunities, bringing a better quality of life to people's lives. And women understand that with a tremendously deep intuition. So I want to thank you for the way in which, in your lives, you're helping to totally reimagine the kind of island of Ireland that we could share, that we could live happily and peacefully in a good neighbourly way together, but a place that brings us pride, that gives our children, whatever their gender, the chance to be whatever they want. None of those paralysing words, none of those paralysing constructs, but rather a kind of a highway of opportunity that you are part and parcel of trying to create. So can I commend each one of you for all that you're doing, for the way you're doing it, Precisely because you're at the start, I think it's still quite a lonely journey and a tough journey. But now, above all times, you're facing into it at an extraordinary period of confluence, just at an extraordinary juncture. And what you're moving us towards, I think, is a world in a way that we really can't fully yet imagine. We don't have the compass points yet to imagine it. We know it is going to be considerably better than the world that we have just come from. We know that. And we also know, I think, that in many, many ways, the world that we are about creating, that world of balance, that world of symbiosis, where men and women share their genius, that in that we will probably have revealed to us, some generation down the road, hopefully not too far away, will have revealed to it what really was the kind of true social order that we were always about, but that seemed to elude us because of these false and paralysing constructs. We're about the business of meritocracy. We're about the business of egalitarianism. We're about the business of the freedom of the individual to be, to choose, to do, to contribute fully. And we will, please God, do that, and we will do it soon, and we will do it with your help. And I wish every one of you who are in business, those of you who are working in that field, I wish you every success. I wish you great achievement, and I also wish for those of you who form networks and sustain networks, I want to thank you, because I know that you do that on top of very, very busy lives. But in that investment in the lives of others is a very, very formidable empowerment. And that is what tomorrow is about, the formidable and full empowerment of both men and women. Thank you.
Madam President, thank you very much for those words of wisdom. Can I ask you to accept from Julie Martin, one of our sponsors of Think Group, a bouquet of flowers? Thank you very much.